Hi, my name is Robert Greene, and I'm the author of 6 books, including The 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction, and you're watching Behind the Brand with Brian Elliott.
Hey everyone, I'm Brian Elliott. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Brand. Robert, thank you so much for your hospitality, having us into your home. So let's talk about power, because 48 Laws is an iconic book. You have a new book out. What is the title?
The Daily Laws.
Yeah. So let's roll back a little bit from into 48 and then roll into the new one. So break down some of maybe the most important laws. There's 48. I mean, I'd love to talk about all 48, but maybe pick a couple that really stand out to you as useful in the context of, again, my audience, these are people that read Inc. magazine. These are go-getters. These are men and women who are ambitious and trying to just crush life, at the same time trying to enjoy it and not work for assholes. How do they hold their own? How do they keep their power?
Well, there are many, as you say, there are 48 laws. One of the laws is, I think, the most important. I can't remember the exact title of it, but it's basically make people dependent on you. So you don't want to appeal to people's love, to the fact that they like you. You want to appeal to the fact that they need you. Because if they love you, love is a very tenuous emotion. In fact, it doesn't work very well in the work situation. It causes all kinds of problems. They'll get rid of you tomorrow, even though they like you. But if they need you, it's like pulling out all of these roots of a plant to get rid of you. It's going to cause all kinds of damage all over the place. They need you and they can't get rid of you. So you need to make sure that your position in a company, in life in general, you're the only person who can do that.
So you're not talking about bringing in bagels every morning, because that's easily replaced. So how do we become irreplaceable? Or?
Well, it depends on the nature of your work, obviously. I mean, I talk in that particular chapter of several strategies. So let's say you're in a corporation, you kind of don't just depend on one person. You just aren't just necessary to the boss, but you spread yourself out to 3 or 4 different networks. You get a sense of how the whole company is functioning. You have your roots in this place, in this place, in this place. So you have more knowledge. It's kind of spread around. And to get rid of you is going to cause a lot of problems, because you're not only involved here, but you're involved here, here, and here. And you have knowledge that nobody else has. So you want to have a kind of knowledge and skill base that makes you unique. So, and that means, like, just don't depend on one skill, but have several skills, and don't be afraid to do that. That's, I think, is probably the key strategy here. But when it comes to, if you're an entrepreneur, it's the same dynamic for an entrepreneur. It's the same dynamic for me. The way you make yourself necessary and others dependent on you is to be the only person who can do this job. You are so unique. There's only one Elon Musk, there's only one Steve Jobs, right? They're irreplaceable. They're not afraid to be themselves, have their own style. And so, that's what secures their position. So if I wrote books like everybody else, I wouldn't have that position of power. But because I'm the only one, for better or for worse, who can write books the way I do, I have secured a position in the publishing world. So it's a law that applies everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we were just sitting back, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. Tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going.
How to Become a Master of Your Craft. Lessons from Robert Greene's book Mastery. Robert Greene wrote Mastery, a book exploring stories of top practitioners from history, to give you an idea of how to become the best at what you do. Instead of distancing ourselves from these great figures and trying to take shortcuts, we should take a look at the roadmap for mastering any skill. This roadmap is based on using principles from iconic figures like Darwin, Napoleon, and Faraday. The first move toward mastery is always inward, learning who you really are and reconnecting with that innate force. Knowing it with clarity, you will find your way to the proper career path, and everything else will fall into place. Set aside enough time to discover the things that lead you to the career path of your dreams. One of the things most people experience as children that leads them towards their true passions is suppressed by society, and it often takes dedicated effort on your part to uncover it. Return to your origins. You may have always known this is what you wanted to do, or that you were talented in a certain field, but struggling with it. You might want to think back and see what you were interested in when we was younger, since that could be what sets your future goals. Occupy the perfect niche. Find a field that's a natural fit for you. Avoid the false path. Avoid the shiny allure of fame, fortune, and glamour. For instance, becoming an accountant may not sound as fun or glamorous as being a journalist, but if that's what you truly love and have always wanted to do, then get all the help you need to be an accountant. Let go of the past. The past is meant to inform the future, not define it. If you do not accord with your decision and want to change it, do not be afraid to take a different path. Find your way back. You'll struggle with many hardships along the way, but if you want to take a hiatus, you can always come back. Skill acquisition, practice/experiment mode. Collecting recipes or methods and skills is the first step in mastering a chosen skill. Recipes are instructions found in books, classes, blogs, and any other guides with one skill that builds on other skills. Absorb the master's power, the mentor dynamic. Think about what you need and who you're most comfortable with before finding a mentor. In this case, the right choice can perhaps provide what your parents didn't give you: support, confidence, direction, space to discover things on your own. Gaze into the mentor's mirror to reflect on your weaknesses. They will help create an objective point of view that will ultimately make you more confident in your skills and abilities. Transmute their ideas. As you learn concepts from your mentors, make them better and unique in a way that reflects your style. Create a back and forth dynamic. Both parties should have an idea of what they want to learn. Do your research and make your expectations clear. At the same time, be humble enough to understand that perhaps the other person might know something you don't about their subject matter. Awaken the dimensional mind. Cultivate negative capability. Practice imagining that everything can go wrong anytime. This will help you to work with your anxiety and accept the uncertain outcomes that may follow. Allow for serendipity. Embrace the unknown and experience new things. Things may be scary at first, but you will grow from them. Alternate the mind through the current. Tap into the unconscious. Some may call it the source, and some even refer to it as the universe. Be open to the sea of inspiration, and it will shock you at the kind of inspiration you receive. If you practice it enough, and get really deep into it, you can discover an ideology that is far beyond what you would come up with on your own. Alter your perspective. When faced with a problem or subject, try approaching it from a different angle. Identify the ambiguity of the issue and see how it remains connected or differs to others. Revert to primal intelligence. The spoken word is limiting. Get a visual representation of the topic with diagrams, graphs, and charts to deliver more meaning. Attaining mastery. True mastery is only attained by combining intuition with reality. Once you do this, your work becomes alive and new powers will start allowing you to create content that can reach a global audience. Greene's keys to mastery. Internalize the details, the life force/the elan vitale. View your work as something living. Study and absorb its details to the point where you can express it effortlessly. Submit to the other, the inside-out perspective. When you are trying to come up with a good idea, you should let others offer their opinion. Feedback helps make your idea better. Synthesize all forms of knowledge. The universal man/woman. You should always try to learn more about your craft. Getting creative and trying new things are the best ways to get better. Being outside your comfort zone will give you an opportunity to experiment with new ideas and grow even more.
Normally you go around more interested in your own thoughts and ideas, and you're locked in your head. It's like a record, like in the old vinyl days, going around and round and round the same grooves, right? You need to switch it around, and you need to tell yourself, the other person is more interesting than me. Their life, their thoughts, their ideas, it's like an undiscovered world. It's like going to Tahiti or something and visiting another culture. They have experiences you've never had. They have a world that's not your world. It's fascinating. They're like a character in a movie. I want to understand it. If somebody did that to you suddenly in the office or in the realm of a male-female seduction, you would feel it. You would go, wow, that's rare. And you would be halfway seduced by just the attention. Okay, so the main thing is get them to talk about their childhood. Obviously, don't go, tell me about your father. Just get them to talk about their early life without being, too inquisitive, without making it clear that that's what you're doing. Everyone has this kind of emotional attachment to their experiences as a child, to where they grew up, to their parents, to their family, to their earliest friends. It's got all sorts of emotions surrounding it that are very potent and uncontrollable. So a very kind of slip-in question about someone's childhood, and then asking a few leading questions and letting them do the talking. So if you're peppering them with questions, you look like a lawyer. If they do 70% of the talking, they're not even aware that they're doing that, but you're letting them talk, you're letting them be the star. But you find a foothold into what excites them, and you get them to talk and open up about their childhood, and then occasionally a question, and then occasionally you go into your own life to sort of show, oh yeah, you had that, I had something very kind of similar. Mirroring people is a slightly manipulative trick, but it's very powerful. They start telling you things about their childhood that are powerful, and you go, yeah, I had something very similar, and you probably have had something similar. Yeah. That's a really potent way of connecting to people. But you've got to be subtle. It's an art to getting people to talk and open up, to finding that thing that lights their face up, that gets them excited, If you touch upon a subject and you see that they get nervous or they laugh a lot, they're very excited, just put that in your little index there and go and return to it. Know you've hit upon a chord, a subject that either excites them or gives them like fear or whatever. There's something very powerful going on there, right? It's kind of like there's the ancient Greek play of Oedipus. He killed his father, and then he ended up marrying his mother.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he never realizes it until he's like in his late 30s, and he's gone through his whole career as king of Thebes. And then suddenly he's made aware of it through various things that happen. It's like, oh my God, really? I've done all that? This is what my life is? And he's so overwhelmed that he cuts his eyes out and he blinds himself as proof of, how blind he was.
Wow.
And so the Greeks are saying in that play that we're all kind of blind. Fate kind of pushes us around and we're not even aware of it. And the moment of feeling enlightened about becoming aware of some of these patterns in your childhood is actually a great moment. It's very painful, but it's very powerful, And in the course of a conversation, somebody says something a little bit disturbing or a little bit strong, and then they go, oh, never mind, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Forget about it, don't listen to what I just said. Well, obviously you're not going to forget about it. It's going to sit in your mind and the seed has been planted. That's the kind of thing that insinuation is. It's never something direct. It can be in your body language. It can be in the fact that you appear in your words not to be interested in someone, but your look, your eyes say something different than what your words are saying. Your look is insinuating desire, while your words are kind of neutral and blank. It's the art of planting seeds in a person's mind, where they go home after they met you, and they think, what did he say there? What did he mean? What was that gesture? If you get people to think about you when they go home, you're halfway towards a seduction, because your spirit has entered their mind and now they're thinking about what you said, about what you did. And we all have anti-seductive tendencies, talking too much, preaching, judging people, being sort of brutal with them, being in a hurry, not listening. If you can just eliminate these anti-seductive tendencies, you're going to go a long way to improving your social interactions.